Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Racha, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone Hollow, pushing this 100% truth of the gospel, waking up and sealing the elect of the nation of Israel through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai. And salutations to all your sincere Akimad that are pushing this gospel in all righteousness and in all sincerity, risking your lives and your freedom to do so. Alright, so we have another video here concerning the MOB, concerning prophecy that is yet to come. Because you see what he is doing right now is he's improving on the technology. Right, this is what he has been doing with all his, with all the different prophetic, all the different prophecies that is going forth, even with the missiles. Alright, he's even improving the technology of the nukes. Alright, so the nukes that would hit in that day probably won't be the ones that you see each displaying, right, or you see him showing forth right now. That's just something to think about. So basically what this is going into is he decreased the size of the MOB. And if you have a problem with it and you believe that this that you see here is not the actual MOB, well, that's just your business. All right, because right now, at the times that we're in, an implantable chip and the MOB, the mark of the beast, are the exact same things. Alright, and Lord willing, that isn't grounds for a strike. But even if it is, man, it doesn't matter. Alright, following the lead of my elders and my apostles, if he takes down this video, right, takes down this channel, I have more that I can make, but the word has to go forth. So this is the article right here. World's smallest implantable chip can monitor medical conditions, and this is going into the miracles that the beast performed. Okay, because you're going to read about it right now, because these are the things that people will see and marvel. They say, who is like unto the beast? Right, and they start to think about the greatness of he and the like. Right, so this is the all so this is the article. The world's smallest implantable chip that can monitor people's medical conditions has been created. Before you start thinking Bill Gates really did create a chip to put in people, this innovative chip was created by engineers at Columbia University, New York, and doesn't have anything to do with the tech mogul, which of course is a lie. But we'll get into that later. And the reason why they have to put this extra disclaimer is just because you can, because how easily you can prove that this is a lie. But anyway, we'll get to that later. Let's just keep on going down and down more, or rather, let's just keep going down into the article. Apparently, the chip will be able to do an array of things in addition to monitoring people's medical conditions. According to the university, it will be able to support and enhance physiological functions and treat diseases, which will overall improve the patient's quality of life. Some of the physical conditions it's hoped to be able to monitor include temperature, blood pressure, glucose, and respiration for both diagnostic and therapeutic procedures. And you see how small this thing actually is. Before you had a chip that was the size of a rice grain, but now he has made it even smaller. Talking about making it more efficient and all that, and it's even adding more features to it. Alright, so that people would to make it more alluring to these people out here. And even though is eventually just going to force it on everybody on the earth. You're still going to have people that will just take it voluntarily, because you even have people that have already taken it already. It's already implanted into them, but you'll have more people taking it voluntarily because they will see all the things you can do and think that this is just super convenient. On top of payments, on top of storing information, now you have it being able to treat, and to monitor what is going on in your body. And this is exactly what they'll use, man. This is exactly how they'll get a lot of people. They'll get a lot of people to take this chip. And you have even different types, not just one. Now you have one that can detect, the infection in somebody's body. And this is how he's going to work, man. Now let me get that preset. I believe that is Revelation, the 13th chapter. Not from the 16th verse, but of course we get that one as well. But from here, here it is. Revelation 13, and I'll start from verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And of course, we already know the breakdown for this. The two lamb horns are going into the plebeians and the patriarchs, I believe. If I don't pronounce that right, it's Greek and all that. not really my thing, which is going into two political parties, the two party system which you see all over the earth, right? Because now whatever country that you are scattered into, most likely they will have two major political parties. Of course, there will be other minor political parties, but there will be two major political parties that always go back and forth with each other. Think about it. All the presidents, all the world leaders, all the people that voted and elected, which parties do they come from the most? If you're living in Babylon, you say, oh, it's Democrats and Republicans, but there are more parties, there are more political parties in Babylon than Democrats and Republicans. Here in Nigeria, we have the PDP and the APC, People's Democratic Party, and the sorry, I've forgotten the full meaning of the APC. Now, I haven't gone into Nigerian politics in a long time. We have and basically that what those two ones is going into is a two-party system, because they always say that these that that those both parties are just two sides of the same coin, because they're basically following the agenda of the wicked elites, the banking families and the banking families, Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and the like. So going on down to verse 12, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And that's going into the Roman Empire, the philosophies of the Roman Empire, because they are because everybody knows this already, that this kingdom right now is just a continuation of the ancient of the ancient Roman Empire. It's just following all the philosophies of the ancient Roman Empire, like for example the Senate, right? Because now nearly every country on the earth has a Senate. It votes people into ruler. It votes their leaders into rulership. It has a Senate. It has and it follows the Roman, or rather the Rome. I want to say the Roman, but rather the Roman way of, or the Roman philosophy. All right, it follows the even celebrating majority of the high holidays that were celebrated in Rome and the Roman culture, and everything they are seeing happening on the earth right now, everything they are seeing being pushed so being pushed so heavily and being uplifted. It's the same thing that was being uplifted in ancient Rome, from your feminism all the way down to, like I said before, the high holy days. All these things are being pushed in ancient Rome, and more, almost, and it's already not even, it's a foregone conclusion, all right, that this current kingdom, okay, NATO and the EU and all that, is it's just this current kingdom is just the revised Roman Empire. The architecture is the same, the people are the same. Well, even the language is just a mixture of those just a mixture is derived from those, ancient Greek, Latin, and the like. Because continue from verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And that's talking about the bombs. You drop a bomb, hit the ground, that's fire right there. It doesn't mean that he's actually throwing down fireballs or anything like that. Just taking a plane up into the sky and dropping a bomb is making fire fall down from heaven. That's enough. Like, and for example, they have this, you see it in sci-fi movies about satellites that can shoot lasers or targeted energy blasts or heat blasts or things like that. They can, which of course I'm not saying that technology actually exists, but it is a possibility. And I'm not, it's a possibility. That isn't any doctrine, but it's just me speaking as a man. And I'm not saying that 100% it exists. I'm just saying that it is a possibility. So continue on. Verse 14. And deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And this is exactly what Esau Edom had done. He had deceived people by revising the Roman Empire. That's what the Renaissance was all about. That just reminded me the proof that this is a continuation of the revised Roman Empire is the Renaissance. Because you go into the history of the Renaissance, you go into what it was about. It was about reviving Roman culture. That is exactly what it was about. It was focused on reviving Roman culture. But anyway, that's it. I digress. And I've already done a video on the Renaissance, and it doesn't need to go into it anymore right now. So they'll continue on from verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Alright, so now let me just go back into the article. I've already gone a little bit too far. I've already gotten what I wanted to get. That is, Like I'm looking for it. Here it is. Revelation 13 verse 14. And deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And this is one of these miracles, alright? Miracles on the left hand side. Alright, miracles that would make you want to, and that beast is this system, this system that's being controlled by NATO and the EU. And what basically what Esau wants you to do is to worship this beast, by taking, by following his system, by being a part of his system. So you celebrate the high holy days. You are accepting of this wicked ass society. The perversions that is. And you're supporting of the different perversions and different things that are against the scriptures. Your things like your feminism, your LGBTQIA, that kind of thing. Just to name it, the most extreme ones, right? Your plantation Christianity, hell, even Islam and Judaism, it's all part of this society. It's all part of this beast system, man. And if you're supporting of all that's what that's basically you worshiping the image of the beast. If you are a part of that society, basically, if you're just a part of this society, when the when the vaccine came out, when the jab came out, you allowed yourself to get jabbed, because you wanted to, because you wanted things to go back to being normal. That's basically what it means to be a part. That basically what it means to worship the image of the beast. You just want things to go back to being normal, when you should be focused on, you know, prophecy going forth. You focused on this kingdom being completely wiped out, completely destroyed, and new and the righteous kingdom coming out. Right. So now continuing the article, and it reads: the total volume of the chip is less than 0.1 millimeter cube, which basically means, and let me get that, around the same size as a dust mite, and therefore is only visible through a microscope. So now I want to get this as well. There was a piece that I want to bring out. Yeah, I'm trying to look for it. There's a certain piece that I'm trying to bring out. Okay, here it is. So okay, I should have started from the top. All right, I should have started from the top. So okay, that's this is what I was looking for. Revelation 13, and I'll start from verse 1. Revelation 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his head 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And this beast is NATO and the EU. The 7 heads are going into. I don't want to start mentioning all the names right now. The 10 horns. I don't really know the names of all the 10 horns, but basically, I'm not going to go into that right now. But the seven, no, what I said, I'm not going to go into it. So I'm not going to it. And continue from verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a boar, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And the leopard, being, I believe that is the Roman Empire, defeats the Russians. Alright, and the lion, exactly, I don't remember which one the lion is. This is a old breakdown. I haven't really gone into it in a while. So Revelation 13 verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And this is talking about the downfall and the building back up of Israel society, from the Roman Empire to the Renaissance. So verse 4. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, and who is able to make more war with him? And that's what majority of these people that are on the earth are, they believe right now. Right, that Esau's kingdom is so supreme, is so great, that this is the greatest kingdom that has ever existed. But if you read the scriptures, according to the scriptures, man, this is the lowest kingdom, right? This is the most base kingdom that has ever existed. That all the other kingdoms are greater than this one, because remember, right? If you remember in the book of Daniel, the second chapter, the statue that Nebuchadnezzar saw, the head was made of the head, which is this is the first kingdom, was made out of gold, and the feet, which is the kingdom that we're in right now, was made out of iron and clay. Showing you just how because of how volatile and weak this kingdom actually is. Because you see all this technology, and you see all these wonders, that Esau does, and you believe that, oh, this kingdom is so great, but it's not. All right, because at the end, because if you really think about it, man, this kingdom is based, right? Because these technologies, in one way or another, they had it in the ancient world. All right, and the people that were in the ancient world, they were much greater, much more powerful, much more healthier than we are now. All right, so and they were far more stronger and in fact far more moral, and that's the main reason why their own kingdoms were better, because this, because what Esau had done, he had deceived the whole world, which you already know about, and telling people that morality doesn't matter, that morality doesn't build a society. That that you don't need this your morality that's from the scriptures, but actuality, man, you do, because right now, what do you have in this society? Disease, war, famine, poverty is so rampant because Esau has because because we allow, because the Most High has put an immoral man, the wicked, in rulership, and this is what he does. Shit like this, all right. This is what Esau does. Shit like this. Put things inside your body that put things inside your body when it's not meant to be there. We know what the scripture says, man. That you should not make any markings in your flesh, or you should not pierce yourself, both for the dead and for anything else. All right, because you have some people that will say that, oh, that just means that you shouldn't pierce yourself, for the dead, or for to commemorate the dead, but it also means that you shouldn't pierce yourself. All right, and put these kind of things. You inject yourself with unknown chemicals. All right, put unknown objects, foreign objects into your body. They push so heavily in society. And let me just end it right. Let me just let me just freeze it and leave it at that. All right, before medical misinformation starts to, So now let me finish up this precept. Let me finish this up by reading Revelation 13 verse 16, which is, of course, you already know what this precept is. Alright, I could probably even read it with my eyes closed. But anyway, Revelation 13 verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And that mark being charagma, a thing inserted, a engraving tool. And you see it right here. A zooming at the jab. You see it right here. A zooming at that dagger that Esau is using to pierce, or rather that he plans to use to pierce billions of people on the earth. And you see it as an engraving tool, and you see the actual mark being being inserted into your body through it. Now, so let me go back to the top, because I mentioned something earlier in the video where this article wanted to try and claim that Bill Gates, the Bill Gates of hell, wasn't involved in this, in the making of this device, making of this chip. And you can clearly see that this chip was made in Columbia University, New York. All right, Columbia University, New York. So now I have a website here. Let me get that. And this is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. All right, I'll repeat that again. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which is I think it's their charity foundation that basically contributes money for this and that, mainly for vaccinations. Okay, but what this is speaking about is one of their I want to say charity works, okay, that they gave to Columbia University in New York, United States, the same university that made that chip. Okay, they're the ones that they are a sponsor of that university, right? And it's basically what's what I'm looking for. This is not I can't remember the word, but basically the reason for the giving them all the money, the reason why they gave them that, the reason why they contributed that money to them, why they paid, why they gave them that money for research. They don't make it clear. They made it vague. Alright, well, basically what it's going into is, let me just read it. The purpose of the donation is to determine whether meeting key benchmarks identified as leading to adult success actually results in successful outcomes for young adults. So you see how vague that is. And they contributed $230,000 to it. I know there was another website. There was another page that I found that was going into how they had a 5-year plan with this university. But I don't have that one right. I don't have that one. That's one right there. So showing you that at the end of the day, when Microsoft, or rather I should say that Bill Gates, since he's no longer involved with Microsoft, but they are involved, but they are involved in the making of this thing, and we already know who is funding these chips, man. The elites of Esau, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, looking or waiting patiently for their, for their, what I'm looking for their enterprise, their, the crowning jewel of their enterprise to be complete. Alright, so with that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahwashai, Ba'asham Rachak Wadash, Wa Abad Babal, and through the Spirit, Akim Ayu Akwat were edified. Shalom.